Nitpick.
Oh boy, do we got a lot to talk about this time, folks.
Sword and Shield recently released, and
oh man.
I feel like you can't discuss these games without first covering the controversy surrounding them. So, let's start there.
Dexit.
A clever term used to draw parallels between Brexit, the United Kingdom leaving the EU, and the UK-based Galarian region separating itself from the rest of the mainline Pokemon series.
So, how are these new games making outcasts of themselves?
Well, from what I can gather, it all began in Nintendo's Treehouse E3 2019. After their fun presentation, Junichi Masuda and Shigeru Omori stated that while creatures could be transferred to their new Pokemon Bank clone service, Pokemon Home, they would not all be transferable to Sword and Shield.
At Game Freak, we really spent a lot of time thinking about what the best way to move forward was. So what that means for Pokemon Sword and Shield is that players will be able to transfer their Pokemon from Pokemon Home only if they appear in the Galar region Pokedex.
While most past titles limited catchable Pokemon during the main story, they always allowed previous creatures to be transferred in post-game.
I'll still be able to transfer from Pokemon Let's Go into Pokemon Sword and Shield through Pokemon Home, correct?
That's right, yeah, as long as they're in the Galar region Pokedex, you can transfer them from Home.
What?
Once fans realized this, they bombarded the video with dislikes and took to social media expressing their displeasure while also digging to find if there really was a good reason we couldn't bring all our friends to the new entries.
It, didn't go well.
Fans dissecting the games found tons of reused models and animations. This, along with most describing the graphics as meh, led to further scrutiny. If so much was recycled, why were we not getting all of our Pokemon back?
Now, I realize there's gonna be two camps here. People who don't care and are just excited to play a new entry, and those who will heavily criticize Game Freak for a decision like this, which could send ripples throughout the rest of the franchise. I did that whole thing without reading the script. Where are you at, AVGN?
While no one should approve of any potential harassment sent Game Freak's way, criticism is a healthy and natural process in our medium. I mean, reviews wouldn't exist without it. Where would you be with that new copy of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games then? You gotta think about these things. So, what has changed in Sword and Shield to justify over half the Pokédex missing? Well,
first thing I need to say, full disclosure, I have not beaten this game, nor have I even played it, so take my opinion with a grain of... Just kidding, I'm not one of those fuckhead YouTubers!
Well, those looking for a new and exciting story from your Pokemon experience, don't kid yourself. Sword and Shield, yet again, play it safe and follow the same beats established by their predecessors. Young kid setting out on an adventure that's tasked with collecting gym badges and being the best. A catastrophe partway through the quest you have to take care of before endgame. A rival following your every move, telling you where to go and constantly requesting battles. A non-existent father. Yep, this is all staple stuff.
This certainly won't be the last time I say it, but man, I was really hoping for an overhaul with the Switch debut. What?
How about starting the adventure off with a failed gym leader who has to prove himself? Or a member of Team Rocket who eventually sees the evil in their ways? We do see a little branching out with Team Yell, an organization full of complete morons obsessed with cheering Pokemon and chosen trainers, among a few other subtle changes. Not quite what I was looking for. Oh, and Jesus Christ almighty, can we take Champion Lee to Old Navy for a wardrobe change? Dude might as well be wearing Jesus is King merch at this point. And oh, what? What is this even? On the flip side, besides the mismatched and ugly fossil Pokemon, this generation has some of the best designed creatures ever. possibly the best. I guarantee you'll be swapping in and out teammates all throughout the adventure, which is made even easier through constant PC access at your fingertips. That's right, no more trips to the Pokemon Center just to sweet talk Nurse Joy and change mons. Tedium is further reduced through Pokemon now appearing in the overworld and Pokédexes letting players know when they haven't yet caught all critters on a route. Thank you. Let's go Pikachu and Eevee. With all that said, there's definitely a little less exploration in Sword and Shield than previous games. Many routes are short straightaways to the next town with very few meaningful branching paths. I wonder how much cutting out HMs influenced this decision. Let's Go assigned all hidden moves to your partner Pokemon, but Sword and Shield removed them entirely. I always enjoyed going back to further explore older areas with new abilities, but on the other hand, this has become the most streamlined Pokemon in the whole franchise. Those looking to play competitively have never been more catered to.
Here's your creme brulee, huh?
Don't want to deal with breeding the perfect monster? Go buy mints to change natures. Use bottle caps to max out IVs and vitamins to EV train.
Holy God!
Getting a near-perfect Pokemon is literally only a 5-star raid away. In the wild area.
Pokemon's answer to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is to copy Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Did anyone play Xenoblade Chronicles 2?
I love that Breath of the Wild intro piano that sneaks in. As if the two are even comparable. In fact, let's talk about that. You know, those really neat enemy interactions, overworld puzzle solving, and freeing feeling while flying through the sky, surveying your surroundings for the next interesting location to explore? Yeah. The wild area is a huge chunk of land smack dab in the middle of Galar. Before release day, a Nintendo rep was cited as saying it's roughly the size of 2 regions in Breath of the Wild. And to that rep, I say, did you even play Breath of the Wild? While the wild area is pretty large and possibly near the size of 1 region in Zelda, the general emptiness knocks it down a few pegs. This is the main reason players have slammed the game for its poor visual presentation. And while I agree slightly, the draw distance is a bigger factor. Depending on your location, Pokemon and objects will pop in right in front of you. An attempt to mask this was used by hiding smaller Pokemon in grassy areas, but it doesn't take an eagle to see Pokemon constantly shrink and grow in and out of existence. Galar's large, empty towns unfortunately suffer the same fate. This is compounded by massive frame drops anytime players try interacting online, which I know this is their first try, but really? The graphics and textures are noticeably downscaled in hopes of making this experience a little smoother, but it doesn't seem to have helped much. The types of Pokemon available to catch in each area changes with the weather, which switches daily. The pop-in is at its worst when entering an area somehow triggers an instant sandstorm or some other effect which dissipates upon players taking a couple steps back. Why can't we see these from a distance? The Switch is not that underpowered of a console, guys. Little fucker has The Witcher and Doom on it. You ain't fooling anybody. Don't let this distract you from the fact that these Pokemon are just walking around waiting for player-initiated interaction. You're not gonna witness a Gyarados feasting on a nearby Goldeen, or a Cufant rampaging through the grass, knocking down every Pokemon in its fury. While different species exhibit slightly different movement patterns and behaviors, Breath of the Wild and even Xenoblade 2, this is not. Raid battles were directly lifted from Pokemon Go, but were dumbed down. Instead of a whole team of monsters centered around attacking the target's weaknesses, each player gets one. If your one Pokemon gets knocked out, it disappears for a couple turns, then comes back fully healed. Raid difficulty ranges from 1 to 5 stars, but I found a hard time getting any level 1 or 2 raids once I beat the game. This seems to be due to the wild area's scaling difficulty curve, which makes each Pokemon higher level the further you advance through the story and level up. A neat feature for sure that can really help with training. Pokemon with big Ditto energy wandering outside grassy areas are usually tougher to defeat, and in a twist of norms, can't be caught if above a certain level. This encourages players to slam through the game ASAP so they can catch these rare monsters. As Galar is centered around the wild area, literally, many of this game's innovations are targeted towards it. Oh hey, check out this wishy-washy computer that kept using Aquatail and healing the raid boss. Brilliant AI, Game Freak. Brilliant.
Aren't I forgetting something? Oh, right. Dynamaxing.
It's literally just Mega Evolution and Z moves slapped together. Not as amazing an idea as I originally thought it was, but I love the art used for Gigantamax forms and hope we see much more of it. Definitely imaginative and zanier than Megas. And does anyone else agree the game lacks a layer of polish? I mean, isn't this intro cutscene the perfect example?
What the fuck?
Okay, let me take care of this.
Yes, Pokemon are all around us, in the sea, in the sky, and even with us in our towns. Exhibition or not, Leon, your pristine record is about to end when I beat you here today.
You know I don't lose battles, Raihan. Charizard, Dynamax!
I'll take my free copy of Sword and Shield now. Thanks, Game Freak. Even with all my criticism, Sword and Shield is still a mountain of fun. With seemingly endless raid battling, loads of quality of life improvements, and a great collection of Mons, it's easy to forget about the other half that aren't here. Ugh. I definitely sympathize with fan concern. If we're continuously creating new Pokemon, won't that just lead to more cut content in the future? If I were to venture a guess, I'd say the cuts have something to do with every Pokemon being able to Dynamax, and many of them seemingly using slightly different models to look bigger when in this mode. If Dynamaxing was scrapped in the future for a new innovation, this would probably take a massive load off the developer's shoulders. In fact, I found a leaked trailer for the rumored Diamond and Pearl remake set to come out next year. Check it out!
All joking aside, I'm feeling a strong 7 to a light 8 on this one. Transition. What did you think of Pokemon Sword and Shield? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Pokemon? Game Freak? Forever.